G'day guys, back again, mid-July 2024 in Melbourne, in the middle of winter. It's a shocking day today. It's only going to get to, I think, 9 degrees. So that's what it looks like outside, if you can see that. It's a cold old day today, not a lot of fun here in Melbourne. So I wanted to ask a few questions. If you're thinking about retiring, for me, heading north. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, if you're in the UK or the USA, it'll be heading south, down to Southeast Asia for retirement reasons. So I've got a bunch of questions that I want to ask you today, and I'd be very interested in your comments. So please leave your comments down below because I love reading everybody's comments. So if you are thinking about retiring in Southeast Asia, what are the main reasons that you are thinking about it? Is it lower cost of living? Is it the warmer climate? Is it you want to experience different cultures over there? Because there are obviously a lot different cultures over there to me living in Australia here, or if you're in the UK, or if you're in the US, or wherever you're from. Do you want an adventure or a change of pace? So instead of just continuing on where you've always lived your life, where you grew up and spent the entire your entire lifetime, do you want to go somewhere different? Or the other reason it could be is because of healthcare. Healthcare in Southeast Asia is much cheaper than here in Australia, and I'm sure it's much cheaper than if you're living in the US and also the UK. So, you know, is there one of those reasons that you're thinking about maybe retiring in Southeast Asia? Or maybe what you're thinking about is spending 6 months in your home country and then the next 6 months in Southeast Asia, you know, so not necessarily leaving and going there and staying there for good, but maybe it's a bit of a hybrid, you know, half the time in your own country and half the time in Southeast Asia. So are you contemplating doing that? Perhaps let me know in the comments below. And if you are contemplating on retiring in Southeast Asia, you know, why are you? What don't you like, or what are you struggling with in your home country? Like, I'm struggling with the weather. Today is a good indication. It's freezing cold here, and we get quite a few days like this down in Melbourne. So you can't really do a lot outside, or you can't really do anything outside on a day like today, unless you want to run around in the freezing cold and get wet. And that's okay to do when you're younger, but I think as you get older, not too many people enjoy that. Another reason that you might be thinking about it is from the rising cost of living. I know the cost of living here in Melbourne, Australia has gone up a lot in the last 10 or 15 years in particular, and it's going to just keep going up. We've got a problem here with inflation like most other countries around the world. Our Reserve Bank want to try to get it down to around the 2% mark, and it's currently at, I think, at 4%. So it's double what they want to try to get down to. So I'm not too confident that we can get it down that low. Everyone wants more money to get to do their job, so it's putting more pressure on prices for everything, and just it's a bit of a cycle. It just keeps on going up all the time. I know some people, you know, they haven't got as much saved up in retirement as they would have liked to, and that's a reason, you know, why they're thinking about going somewhere where the cost of living is much cheaper, and so their dollar will stretch a lot further. So are you one of those people? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. I'm really interested to see your perspective. And if you are thinking about retiring in Southeast Asia, what country have you been looking at in particular? Is it Thailand, or maybe Malaysia, or Vietnam, or Cambodia, or the Philippines? So all those different countries are looking at changing their visa requirements to make it easier for Westerners to retire in their country. They see that as a way to boost their economy. So I know that all the different countries are looking at changing their visa requirements, so you need to do some research on that. And if you are looking at retiring over there, what do you think the biggest barriers will be? What do you think is going to be the hardest thing? Is it the language barrier, for example? And I know, you know, for a fact that AI is changing the language barrier very quickly. Lots of different AI companies are doing pretty much instant translations now. You can just hold up your phone, you speak in English, and then it gets translated into their local language. And vice versa, they can speak in their local language and it'll get translated back to English. virtually instant. So that's going to really change the language barrier problem. I think that's going to be non-existent. The next one that it might be is healthcare concerns. Everyone's comfortable with the healthcare in their own country. They know what it is, what's involved in it. So is that a concern for you, the healthcare in those Southeast Asian countries? Is it the visa and the legal requirements? We just touched on those, but maybe that's a concern for you. You're not super confident that you'll be able to navigate the legal requirements and the visa, the legalities about the visa. Is that a concern, or you're pretty confident that you'll be able to work that out? Or are you concerned with the cultural differences? I know culture-wise, Southeast Asia is a lot different to our Australian way of life here. And if you're from the US or you're from the UK, you'd have a similar type difference, I think. So is that a concern for you, or you think that's fine? You'll be interested in making those changes and experiencing the different cultures. Another concern you might be fearing is the whole financial management. Can you manage your finances? Maybe leaving some money back in your home country here, in your banks back in your home country. You might have to transfer some to a local bank over there. Are you confident that as you get older you'll be able to manage all that, and you won't fall into any traps? So maybe that's a concern for you. So please leave the comments down below so we can see the experience of people that are already over there, how they handle that sort of thing. I'm sure everyone would be very interested to hear from you. The other thing is, how much do you think you'll reasonably need to retire over there, in a month, for example, each month? So my Australian dollars, I'm thinking, probably around the $2,000 mark, or from $1,500 to $2,000 mark. That sounds like you should be able to live quite comfortably for in most of those Southeast Asian countries. But, if you're from the US, how much do you think? And also from the UK, how much do you think you'll need to live on per month so you can have a comfortable lifestyle over there? The next one is, if you decide to retire in Southeast Asia, what do you think you're going to miss the most about your home country? You obviously will miss your immediate family, so that's probably number one. But apart from that, what are you going to miss? You're going to miss the, like I'm from Melbourne, so I'll probably miss the coffee scene here and the footy. I love watching the footy, but that's probably more just a Melbourne thing. But if you're from the northern states, you probably miss the rugby. Or, from the US, you might miss their football or the NBA. And from the UK, you probably miss your soccer over there. You can see all that sort of stuff on TV now through the internet. So, that won't be such a big deal. But maybe it's the other things, your family, obviously, and the culture. Maybe you'll miss your home culture. Or do you think you'll miss the stability of your home country? Do you think your country is going to be more politically stable and even safety-wise? I've made a couple of videos about Melbourne. It's changed over the last few years, so it's not as safe as it used to be. I used to always think that we used to live in one of the safest cities in the world, but I think that's changed now. Lots of those Southeast Asian countries, as long as you mind your own business, they seem very safe. And if you plan to live in Southeast Asia, where do you plan to live? Do you plan to live in the biggest cities like, Bangkok and Manila and where else? Kuala Lumpur, Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi? Or, so do you plan on living in a big city, or do you want to live in the countryside or on the beach? Or so where are you looking at? Be very interested to know the research you've done and where you would prefer to retire. And if you're going to stay in your home country and not go to Southeast Asia, what are your biggest concerns moving forward with retirement? Is it you haven't saved enough money in your retirement? You're not financially prepared? Are you worried about the cost of living's going to go up? Are you worried about your housing? So if you're planning to stay in your home city, your home country, are there things that are worrying you moving forward with your retirement as you're getting closer to it? And the last one if you retire in Southeast Asia, how do you plan to manage your health care? Are you going to get health insurance, or you're just going to keep plenty of cash and just pay for things as they pop up? I've heard both stories. I think the majority of people get healthcare cover, but some people just stack their cash and save their money and then pay for things via cash. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you're planning to do. Hopefully we'll get a lot of people commenting and we can all see the different comments from different people. But yeah, so I just wanted to do this one today. It's a terrible day in Melbourne today, as I said. So these are the days where you think, oh, as I get older, do I want to be around here living in this cold, miserable weather in the winter? It's nice in the summer, but in the winter it's not that great. So yeah, if you could leave your comments, I'd love to hear them. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.